a nice 22-degree cold start to get things rolling in the morning. Let's get this baby set up in its mount. I do have a GoPro mount, the suction cup thing. Open skeleton case, I think it's called, so it has good audio. Even though I don't ever use it, which is why my GoPro is always flying off of the dashboard when I make videos. But I do have one, and I use it for in-car vlogs like today. I don't like carrying the mount around like all the time because I just like being able to carry the little GoPro, which is just one more reason why people ask, like, why don't you get like a big vlogging camera? I like the GoPro. I can literally just put it in my pocket. It's like this big. It's easy to use. I think that's good. Okay, here we go. So I have been driving the Z06 here in wintertime, and I've loved it. Originally, I was thinking maybe I won't drive this car in the winter. Maybe I will try to keep it as nice as possible. But then I thought to myself, you know, unless you're keeping a car, you got to be realistic. Unless you're keeping a car for like 10 years. I mean, people love to talk about, oh, the salt and everything. But how many people really keep their cars long enough for that to even matter? And unless you are keeping it for 10 years, I understand then you might want to keep it nice if you are, or if you have like a classic car or something. But really, you know, you might as well, for people that, you know, like the average person, they buy a car, they're going to sell it in a few years. You know, you might as well drive it as much as you possibly can, get as much use out of it as you can while you have it. And I love the thing. I've been loving driving. I'm glad that I made this decision because I think some people go too far. You know, if you're at the point where you don't drive it to keep it nice, then you're not enjoying the car. I have 8,500 miles on it so far, and I should mention that I think I modified it at 3,500 miles, so the vast majority, well, not the vast majority, over half of the miles that I have on this car have been driven with 800 horsepower, and it's been a hell of a time, so I love it. You know, it goes back to that old saying, what's it like? If you're not driving your car to keep it nice for the next owner, it's like not having... I don't know, but I've already made this vlog incredibly inappropriate, so let's just move on to the subject matter at hand. So let's get to the subject that I want to talk about, and that is the 2018 Corvette ZR1, and it's definitely going to be 2018. We're going to talk about how I know that in a second, but I just got off the phone with Mike Furman this morning. Now, Mike is with Criswell Chevrolet. He's the #1 Corvette seller in the country, well, in the world, and he's just an awesome guy. I'm going to link an article in the description that's really interesting that talks about if you're like a regular average person, you know, Mike might be the only person, the only seller that you can go to that can actually get you a ZR1. So I'm going to link that article, and I'm going to put all of his info in the description below. You know, if you need anything Corvette, Stingray, Grand Sport, Z06, or you want info on the ZR1, you might be interested in getting one of those, definitely do not hesitate to contact him. He's a great guy. He's going to take care of you. That's who I bought my Z06 from. So I just got off the phone with Mike this morning, and I have secured, I put down a deposit, I have secured an allocation for myself for a 2018 ZR1 for the Street Speed 717 channel. And I'm extremely excited about that, and something that I think everyone's going to love as well. I'm also keeping this car. So that's the really cool thing about the ZR1 and why I decided to go for it, because, you know, I was talking about maybe getting a McLaren, but even an older used McLaren, like a 2013 MP4, it's like 165 grand. And this ZR1, we don't know exactly how much, but it's pretty much going to be about 110, or probably even less than that, depending on how I spec it out. So that's really cool, the fact that I can get the ZR1 and keep this car. Now, maybe I do what Nick's doing and just make this a dedicated like drag racing car. I don't know yet. I really don't want to cage it, but let's be honest, with the times I'm going to run, I'm probably going to get thrown out of the drag strip anyway, so I really have no choice. Either way, we're going to cross that bridge when we come to it, but I'm really excited about this ZR1. So what do we know now? I've made some videos on this car in the past when we saw some first spy shots. Now we're at the stage where I'm going to put them up on the screen. We have spy shots of the car in winter testing. Winter testing is done when the car is usually pretty close to production. So this car is pretty much on its way to being produced. I mean, you're seeing it there in its final form. It looks to be, you know, pretty much a production car at this point. Not a whole lot of camouflage anymore. I mean, there's camo in the wing, but what can you do to hide that? And there's still camo in the front. So, of course, the front and the hood and everything are probably going to be different than the Z06. But that's about it. You can pretty much see, you know exactly what the car is going to look like. The only bad thing is the car is not going to be ready in time for the Detroit Auto Show. There are test mules driving around all over, doing the winter testing, driving in the United States, in different states, different areas, you know, to test out different climates and weather and stuff like that. So Mike said that he doesn't think the car is going to be ready in time for the Detroit Auto Show, which is in like 2 weeks, which is a bummer. I know I was hoping to see it there. I think a lot of people were, but it may be ready and it may be debuted at a different auto show later on this year. So how do I know for sure that it's going to be a 2018 ZR1 and not like a 2019? Well, there were some leaked documents that showed in the GM VIN codes for these cars that the LT5 engine option was available for 2018, the 2018 model year. And since those documents were leaked, GM has come out and said, yes, this is true. So it's now 100% confirmed that an LT5 engine is available for 2018. Now the LT1, which is the Stingray and Grand Sport engine, and the LT4, which is the Z06 engine that I have, those are also available. So it just makes sense that the LT5 is going to be the option for the ZR1, because here's the thing, it's also confirmed that the LT5 is going to be a dock setup, a dual overhead cam. Now, Chevy engines, of course, for a very long time, and pretty much all of their performance cars, most of their cars in general, have always been a single cam pushrod design for the V8s. And you know, the only other time that they ever used a dual overhead cam in the Corvette was for the C4 ZR1. They used a you know, a dock setup in that car too. And that just pretty much proves it again there. That's just more evidence showing that it's going to be for the ZR1, because they're going to go and use this new dual overhead cam design. And if the only other time they ever used it for the Corvette was for the old ZR1, the C4 generation, you can pretty much guess that, okay, it's going to be for this new ZR1 as well. Now that, of course, is very interesting to me. I don't really have a preference one way or the other. I don't care. As long as it's a V8 and it sounds good, that's all I care about. And it's going to sound good, and it's going to perform good. But, you know, some people, it's really a matter of opinion whether you think, you know, the single cam or the dual overhead is better. There are really advantages and disadvantages to each one, and we're not going to get into that in this talk, because that's just a technical discussion that, you know, can lead you down a lot of different paths, and we're going to keep it simple for today. Really, the only thing that I can say is that you can make more power at a higher RPM with the dual overhead cam setup, and the engine is going to rev higher. So my thinking is that they want to go with a more kind of exotic feel, and they want a higher revving engine, so that's why they decided to go with that design. Power is one of those things that is not confirmed yet either, so we don't know for sure, but Mike said he expects the car to have 750 horsepower, which I think is reasonable. You know, the Z06 has 650, so the ZR1 having 750 sounds about right. You know, it's not a crazy higher number, but it's not, you know, too low for it not to make sense. So I think that's probably a pretty good guess. Now, I don't think that their goal here with the ZR1 was to make a shit ton of power, to have like, you know, 800, 850, whatever. I think that they want to focus more on the track capabilities, which is why you see the wing and you know, some of the other stuff that you see on the car. But I think 750 is a reasonable guess, and it is a lot of power. So the car, let's just say this, it's not going to be slow. Something else that we don't know yet, what transmissions will be offered. It's a pretty safe bet that the 7-speed, like in this car, will be an option, as well as the 10-speed automatic that you can find in the new ZL1 and in the new Ford Raptor, because it was co-developed with Ford. That's a pretty safe bet that that will be available as well. So those are the two options, and for me, you can take a guess, I am going to pick the manual. As long as the manual hasn't died out yet, that's the transmission I'm going to choose, although I know that my days of being able to pick that are limited. One final thing that we do not know yet, and that is price, but everybody's best guess seems to be in the $100,000 to $110,000 range, and then of course it will go up from there. Anyway, that is going to do it for this video, but I wanted to share that very exciting news. I am officially getting a 2018 ZR1. I hope that you guys are as excited as I am, but let me know what you think in the comments section below. And as always, I sincerely hope that you enjoyed this video. If you are stopping in for the first time, please subscribe. Take care. Have a great day. One more thing I wanted to show you guys here to end the video, but I do have all the plates up on the wall. Well, almost all of them. I ran out of paper clips. I only got one. I used the big ones. I only got one left, so I still have Florida and Ohio here, but those are copies of ones that I already have. But like I said, I'm still going to put them up on the wall. As long as I have room, they will be on the wall, and we have a lot of space to go here. I'll just move those signs over if necessary. But I did hit one snag. Of course, leave it to the damn Australians. Always got to be different. Always got to be doing something silly. And now this is all jacked up. So I'll see if I can figure something out for that. But this looks so cool, and I just wanted to say, you know, thank you again very much for this. It might seem like a silly little thing, but it makes me smile every time I look at it, and it really means a lot. Like, it's such a cool thing, and I really appreciate it. So anyway, that's it.